Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. It's time to talk real estate with Laura Bramnick from TalkRealEstateAZ.com. TalkRealEstateAZ.com. Laura, good afternoon.
It's great to be here, Sinclair.
Always good to see you.
Thanks for having me.
You're an attorney, you're a realtor, you're a consumer advocate. You help people put together concrete plans for residential and commercial real estate and land transactions. You've got a great background in this. You've invested in real estate in the past. You've worked in the mortgage industry. You hold an active Arizona real estate license. You're an attorney through the bar in Arizona.
Yes.
A certified instructor with the Arizona Department of Real Estate.
That's correct.
And you help on a lot of different kinds of sales. Last week we talked about traditional sales. Somebody buys or sells a home. It's a great advantage to have an attorney on your side.
Definitely.
Because you never know what can go wrong.
And it's a big investment.
Sure, one of the biggest we make.
Yes.
But then there are so many transactions that are not just that traditional sale.
Yeah, especially in Arizona where there's a lot of empty land. You know, back east where I come from originally, it's different because the land is already zoned and had been bought out, and there's been multiple buyers over and over again. Mm-hmm. In Arizona, you just have a lot of different types of property, and you have a lot of vacant areas of land, and then you have state trust land that sometimes is released. So you really many times need a lawyer to understand what you can and cannot do with the property, and also if you're a kind of person that has kind of purchased different types of properties along the way. Uh-huh. You know, a lot of people will invest in real estate, let's say, instead of the stock market, and they may buy land, they may buy a strip center, they may buy some rental homes. So you have
maybe a second home up in the mountains.
You have an array of real estate.
Sure.
And then what I see in my practice is people become elderly, they can't manage it anymore. They may need to sell all or some of them because they may need that money for a nursing home or long-term care. Mm-hmm. And
for many people, real estate is their retirement plan.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. And so you really need someone who can handle different types of property. And a real estate lawyer is an ideal person or professional to handle multiple types of property, where if you deal with a realtor without a lawyer, mm-hmm. you may have to get a residential realtor and a commercial realtor. A realtor deals with land. And so you have to deal with different people, and now you're already not well. And you also may even not be competent, which means you have somebody who has your power of attorney who's dealing with this. So sometimes it's better to have a professional who really can manage it. They will actually manage the properties while they're being sold. And that can be a great benefit because you don't have to deal with the headaches of, let's say, somebody broke a window. Right. Or the irrigation system is leaking, or those types of things.
Goes out, yeah.
Or somebody took the key from the lockbox and the next potential buyer can't get in.
And you're right, most of the time realtors are dealing with very specific areas of the market. Even in commercial, someone may be a strip mall, someone else may be office buildings.
Definitely, that's definitely true. And so you have super specialization, which is good, but if you have multiple properties and you're in a situation of some distress, you really need an attorney to oversee the management and the sale, especially if certain properties are hard to sell because you just have fewer buyers that are looking for that type of property. Maybe it's horse property. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's in a remote county. And so
and on commercial there is, I guess you wouldn't call it homeowners associations, but there are rules and covenants that have
yes.
to be followed as well.
Yes, and so, sometimes if it's commercial, sometimes it's not allowed to be vacant for too long, and there's a lot of commercial issues in a commercial lease, let's say, and the homeowners association. Planned communities The commercial properties are subject to the rules and regulations of the homeowners association. You know, we have a lot of communities where there's
Yeah.
commercial and residential in the same
Mhm.
planned community. And so the other thing that's beneficial with the legal professional is that they can draft the contracts. These are non-traditional properties. They may, most of the time, you have a non-traditional contract, meaning a non-boilerplate type contract.
Right.
So you need an attorney to draft it from scratch.
Yeah.
And also, in non-traditional properties, there's a greater percentage of seller financing, which
Mhm.
means the attorney can draft the documents for that and make sure that the buyer is qualified. You know, just because you have a lien, you maintain a lien, let's say the buyer gives you a promissory note and a deed of trust, you don't wanna have to foreclose on that property.
No.
You know, I mean, things can happen and that's why you have the lien, but you want somebody who's pretty solid.
Particularly as folks are getting into their retirement
Yes.
years and they're slowing down a little bit, they don't want the hassles associated with real estate.
And some of them can't afford to wait if the payments aren't made. You know, they're relying on those payments
Absolutely.
for their own survival and medical care.
You really need to make sure that this is done properly and correctly first time out of the gate. You also work with estate lawyers.
Yes, estate lawyers and divorce lawyers. They're the lawyers that deal mostly with people who may have multiple properties that they have to manage and sell. And so it's a good mix if you have a couple different professionals that can help you, because they can make it smooth and reduce the stress.
Ounce of prevention worth a pound of cure.
I know, we say that every week, don't we,
All the
Sinclair?
time, but it's so true.
Yes.
And you are the ounce of prevention here. Laura Bramnick at talkrealestateaz.com, talkrealestateaz.com, or call, because Laura actually answers her phone.
Yes, I do.
480-624-2705, 480-624-2705 for Laura Bramnick. Laura, thank you so much.
Thank you, Sinclair.